Hi, I'm Sean Hall with Sodium Dental. Today I wanted to show you a new cool module that's in the latest update of the Shining 3D software for the Aoralscan 3. By the way, if you have their older software, Shining does not charge you to get the newest version. You can go to the website and download it. If you have trouble finding those download links, go ahead and reach out to us, sales@sodiumdental.com, or give us a call at 1-800-821-8962. And we can help you out. Shining doesn't charge subscription fees to be able to update your software and so on. A lot of other companies do charge a couple $1,000s a year just for the ability to upgrade your software. So they have new modules coming out all the time. Now, they've always had a model builder, but it has just gotten better and much more convenient, and I wanted to show that. So first, we're starting off with a scan. As you can see, I'm scanning the upper arch here. With the Shining scanner, you'll find an upper arch scan takes about a minute, maybe less, depending on how quick you are. The reason why it's so fast, because if you've used other scanners, you may have found it takes you 7, 8, 10 minutes to get a full digital impression. With the Shining scanner, you're going to be getting full digital impressions in 4 minutes or less. A lot of that speed really comes down to all the investment Shining's done in the AI on the scanner. The AI ignores things you don't want to scan. So it's a huge benefit. A lot of times you may be scanning, accidentally scan way up the cheek, scan the tongue, scan all kinds of stuff that you did not want in the scan, and it actually can potentially screw up the scan. The AI from Shining will automatically ignore all that. Now, if you are trying to scan something that the AI normally doesn't think you want to scan in an impression scan, you can actually turn the AI off and scan anything you want. You can scan fingers, toes, whatever. So it really is phenomenal software, and it gets better all the time. Just in 1 year, I've seen the speed of my same scanner increase just because of simple software updates that have come out, and the AI's gotten better and speed's gone up. So an already fast and great product, it gets better just by me occasionally updating the software. Here you can see I'm finishing out the scan. I've got a big gold crown there. By the way, I went ahead and clicked the metal tooth scan button there down at the bottom right. The reason why I did that is what it'll do is when you go to metal tooth scan mode, basically it increases the rate of capture of the camera. So it actually shifts to kind of a higher file usage rate, almost like it's kind of hard to describe unless you're super familiar with how the capturing process works. But you could leave that metal on all the time if you wanted. I generally don't need it until I'm scanning an entire gold crown, and the crown will scan perfectly without it, but I like to kick it on because I found that the visual resolution of it, how it looks after the scan for the sake of doing oral health histories and so on, it does improve that a little bit. You'll see here at the it's optimizing all the scan data we just did. By the way, while I was talking, we just did a full digital impression. Takes about 3.5 minutes with the Shining scanner. So what I'm going to do here is there you go. There's my full digital model. You see it's really beautiful. They capture great. Not only is this then there's 4 or 5 studies you can look at. It's among the most accurate scanners on the market. It also, the visuals out of it are amazing. So a lot of people are using these scan models now just to completely replace intraoral camera pictures. So it cuts a piece of equipment right out of your office. So what I did there is I clicked send to my cloud. The Shining cloud is free with the scanner. So there I could have chose as target like a lab I wanted to send it to, but instead I sent it to my cloud because I'm being my own lab on this little bit of work of making the model. So it goes to my lab here, which you get for free as just buying your Shining scanner and setting this up. And it's cool because now I'm on a totally different computer than the computer I scanned on. Like the computer I scanned on is a different room. I'm on a different computer now. You're looking at a completely different computer now. And I was able to I'll be able to download my scan here from the Shining cloud. I can also review it here on the Shining cloud, which a lot of people now are just like, since it's on a web page, they're pulling this up on like a tablet or something to review these models. Because, depending on how your office layout is set up, or let's say you've got some Mac computers in your clinical setting, well, you can pull up the web page on the Mac computer and go over that model by reviewing it. But here I pulled it back up in my Aoralscan software that does only currently work on Windows. And what I did was I imported that model I just downloaded from the cloud. So I'm on a totally different computer than what I scanned on. So the scanner's off there scanning again, doing what I paid for. It's getting impressions. And I'm on a different computer. Maybe my lab tech is, or my assistant. They're on this computer. They just downloaded the model. Now, they can go ahead and do things like mess around with the model, like clean it up a little bit if you want to. See, I like kind of scanned up the cheek a little bit there. I don't want that in my model when I go to print it because I don't need it in the model. And any extra stuff in there is just kind of wasted resin. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. Super easy. I don't have to do this. I could just not, but I like things to be really neat. So I'm going to eliminate that from my model. And once I've got it all cleaned up, the next easy step is I'm going to go ahead and open the software inside Shining called Accudesign. Now, like the whole point of this talk was you've been able to build models with Shining for like a long time. Although if you bought other scanners and you had something like that Sprint whatever 3D printer, the ability to make and print a model, they actually charge you like $15 every time you want to do it. This is just a built-in free module inside the Aoralscan 3 Shining Aoralscan software. So I cleaned up my model, and now I'm going to go up here on these 3 dots. There's a whole bunch of different modules you can use within for free inside the Shining software. I'm going to click on the Accudesign module. This is where you can build 3D models. You may want to look at what you're paying a lab to build 3D models for you and send them back with your work, because you can 3D print these things for like $6 of materials. First thing I'm going to do is I'm generating some holes. You don't have to do this, but one of the benefits of generating holes sorry, I skipped ahead. There I filled holes. That's just if your model wasn't totally closed. It's just a 3D thing you do. It fixes it, makes it a closed model. The original model when you scan is a thin layer, kind of like, imagine it's really it's a 1D object because it has no depth whatsoever. So the model maker here just added depth to it, right? It made it a physical 3D object that can be created in the real world. I'm showing you here the label maker. I'm adding a little label here right onto my model that says Aoralscan 3 Aurochs. Now the cool thing about this is it's making this a physical object on the model. So when I 3D print it, that's going to be there on the model. It's going to be printed on there. Not like printed in print. It's going to be printed with raised letterings out of the resin material. Now I'm adding holes to the model. You don't have to do this. One of the benefits of adding holes to the model is that resin won't get trapped in your models when you 3D print. Mostly what this does is preserve resin. It comes back out of the model and flows back into your tank versus getting stuck in the model and just ending up in your wash basin and being wasted resin. But it does this automatically for you. A lot of model makers don't, and you have to learn stuff. So I did that, and immediately from here I can move to send it to my Shining 3D printer, which the Shining 3D printer is this phenomenal 3D printer. It's so fast, it's amazing, and it costs basically half as much as a Sprint Ray. I still have the L4K model that I use all the time. It actually costs a quarter as much as a Sprint Ray. But their new model has a bunch of slick features, biocompatible ceramic plates, adjustable tank sizes, all kinds of neat things about 3D printing, and it's still about half the price of Sprint Ray, which Sprint Ray is among one of the cheaper 3D printers out there in the dental world. I mean, in price comparison, you're probably talking about between printing, washing, and curing, you might have like $9,000 of equipment with Shining. Take that in comparison to Sirona is now selling a $40,000 printing, washing, curing system, which at the point that you're spending that amount of money, there's very little point in trying to save money by 3D printing the models yourself. So that was the whole process. That was it. That simple. I scanned, I moved it into my Accudesign software, and I 3D printed literally almost faster than I could tell you about it. This is really just a very, very cool way of getting models out, which is, of course, the most basic thing you can do with a 3D printer in your practice. Still makes it actually profitable, but aside from that, I mean, the key aspects that you can do with 3D printing are really everything from bite splints to clear aligners to you can 3D print wax resin for literal wax casting. These units are really amazing, minimal upkeep. The consumables are very inexpensive, and it's anyone can learn how to do it. It's just a very cool thing. So I wanted to show that module. That's the new model making module. And like I said, the key aspect that I wanted to point out was that previously you had to do all the model making from the same computer that your intraoral scanner was attached to, which may not sound like a problem at all. And for a lot of people it wasn't. But for really high production and high productivity, the goal is for that scanner computer that the scanner is attached to be rolling room from room, taking impressions, being used in hygiene, building oral health reports, consistently. You want it in use with the patients pretty much all the time. And so not having to have that computer tied up with something like 3D printing the models you needed and having your staff be able to have a different computer, pull up the software, download it from their cloud, and then load up the model and be able to 3D print it, that it does add a huge amount of workflow convenience. So just wanted to share that with you today. Thank you for watching. I hope for anyone who's currently got the system, this helps you know that there's this module you can take advantage of. And anyone who's interested in the system, this might be one more reason why you should really make the decision to come to us and at least get demoed on the Aoralscan 3. I know there's a lot of options out there. I've used them all, and shockingly, I carry quite a few. But the only one I promote, the only one I take with me to shows, the only one I do CE with is the Aoralscan 3. I mean, it's just so incredibly easy to use, and the accuracy is just, it's beyond belief. So, well, thank you for your time.